Hello everyone, this is Mariana Martinez and this is my final Inquiry 4 presentation. So, for my Inquiry 4, the title of my project was Social Media Influences in the College Atmosphere. To begin my presentation, I wanted to talk about some known influences of social media. So on the positive side of social media, it has very easy connectivity. It is a good way to keep in contact with family, friends, distant friends, whatever it may be. Social media has been a fantastic platform to keep in communication with all those people. Another thing is that it keeps people updated on current events. Whether for us college students, it's a way to know college events or world events. It is a very good display of information for everyone to see. Another thing is that it promotes creativity. Whether you're posting pictures, videos, whatever it may be, it allows people to express themselves however they feel. However, there are negative effects of social media. It enables cyberbullying. You may have been a victim to cyberbullying. It's when somebody comments mean, terrible things on your posts. And it causes people to go into depressions, causes anxiety, and overall, it's just a very bad thing that social media has been known to do. And another thing that social media does is it causes distractions. Oh my goodness, I cannot tell you how many times that I've gone into deep Instagram searches rather than writing a paper. It is so easy at drawing your focus away from anything that you're doing. And lastly, there is a huge lack of emotional connection. When you post things, people don't really know the way your voice sounds or the tone of your voice, and it can really cause a lot of communication problems. On the next slide, I'm going to have what seems to be long list of all the questions that I asked in my survey. So here's a list of all of the survey questions besides the demographic questions that I asked in my survey. All of the ones that are black were either multiple choice or slide bar rate type questions, and the red ones were free response questions. And so the black ones were just there to see how many people had social media, what accounts they had, how often do they use them, how do they like them, stuff like that. So, like simple stuff to start gauging themselves on social media. But the red ones were the ones where I wanted to hear their input on how social media positively influenced your life, negatively influenced your life, and how social media affects the relationships with people around you. So my survey was sent out through email. A couple of people emailed it. I sent it to all of the college friends that I knew, all of the college group chats I was in, and I was able to rack up 51 responses, which may not have been 100, but I was pretty proud that I got 51. I don't even really know 51 people at UTD, so that is a good thing for me. Now on to all the results and data and graphs and charts and all that I got from my survey. So this first, what's called a breakdown bar, was what I got from my second question, which was how many social media accounts do you have? And I believe 49 people answered this question, and majority of people had either 3 or more, which was pretty interesting to see. I thought people would have a lot more social medias. But this was just like a breakdown bar to show, like 11 people said that they only had 1 to 2, 19 people said that they only had 3 to 4, 12 people said they have 5 to 6, and then I know you can't see the number, but it was 3 people that responded that they had 7 plus social medias, which is so many. I think that myself, I range on the light blue, the 5 to 6, probably. This next chart was taken from question 3, which was the question where I asked them to rate these 5 different social medias on how much they liked them from a scale. It should have been from 0 to 10, but I guess YouTube kind of went funny and said 1 to 10, but it didn't matter. YouTube ended up getting the most, coming in first with 8.5 was the average score, which is really high, probably because people love watching YouTube videos. I love watching YouTube videos, so I totally understand that. And then the next one that came in was TikTok, which is a fairly new craze, so that was interesting to see. Then Instagram, then Twitter, and then Facebook, which Facebook, I understand. I only had 4 faculty comments, faculty staff people answer my survey, so Facebook is more for an older age demographic, so that one I understand, but Twitter is kind of confusing for me. The only thing I can think of is that for the longest time, I didn't like Twitter because it was hard to use. So that might be why I got a low score. Not too sure. But TikTok coming in pretty hot, which is crazy. Now, this bar graph is what I pulled from question 5, which was I wanted them to rate these 5 social medias on how often they use each one respectively. And it seems as though YouTube and Instagram were consistently the more used ones, coming in the most and hourly and daily. Something that did shock me though was in my previous slide, I mentioned how TikTok got the second highest score on the likability scale. But here, TikTok has the greatest of does not apply. And so that could mean either that they didn't have TikTok or they don't use it every week, which doesn't seem very consistent with the likability score, but it could be because people haven't downloaded it yet. I'm not too sure, but that one did come into shock to me. Not many people have Facebook, so I understand why that one is high on the do not apply list. And then Twitter. Not a lot of people have Twitter or don't use it very often, which is also pretty interesting. But pretty much as I would have guessed myself, I use Instagram and YouTube pretty much every day. So that was a pretty common response. And on to my last type of graphical image that I have chosen. This is from question 13, which was, would you say that social media affects your self-esteem? It's kind of like a yes, sort of, no kind of question. And I'm not shocked to see, but it's interesting to see that over 50% of people said that it somewhat affects their self-esteem. If they weren't a somewhat, it was a yes, that it does affect. And I would say it affects my self-esteem too, so this isn't too crazy of a pie chart for me, but when I put it in this pie chart form, it just kind of I guess it clicked in my head like, wow, social media affects people like this. And compared to the 50 people that answered this question, it was kind of consistent with what I thought. So now on to some analysis of the free response questions that I asked. So I chose question 11, which was how does social media positively influence your life? And I chose 4 of the most common, what people said, quotes. Some people said that it helps keep contact with important people, which, yep. Keeps connected with events. My college uses Facebook for everything. There you go. Get some new link, funny videos, drink ideas. Totally fun, good way to spend your time, which I do too. And then it's an outlet for me to express my feelings, beliefs, and thoughts, which it totally does. And this was super consistent to the known influences that positively influence social medias. So it was nice to see all these. And then one of the last things that I analyzed was the second part, which was question 12, of how has social media negatively influenced your life? And a lot of these resonated with me, definitely. Some people mentioned that they've met online bullies and had to deal with them. Easily compare, all of your life on social media to others. It's degrading. There's a lot of hatred on there. Polarization of people. It makes you sad, Social media has been a major distraction, which completely agree. Now on to the concluding thoughts. In conclusion, all of the survey answers somewhat supported my hypothesis. I know I didn't mention it before, but it supported my hypothesis because more negative comments were seen rather than positive comments. And it didn't really support my hypothesis because social media was used a lot less often than I thought. I thought people would have 7+ accounts, using it all the time, hourly, daily, whatever. But I guess since it's more in the college atmosphere, college students have a little more restraint in where they spend their time because we have assignments, tests, exams, all that. So I guess it's a little more understood now that the survey is over. And it would be beneficial for everyone to just put social media away, go talk to people around you, participate in activities, go outside. Social media is not all that life has to offer. And to further my research, I saw a couple of comments that had to do with cyberbullying.
And I think it would be really interesting to see, how many people were cyberbullied, how the entire centering around the cyberbullying. I think that would be really interesting.
And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for watching.